Hey everybody, welcome back to Southern Gal True Crime. Or if this is your first time here, thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with us tonight. This is our weekly Missing Person Monday live stream. We do this every week. We feature cases from we've been doing the states. We went through all the 50 states. Now we're going back through the 50 states, and this time we're just featuring missing from a particular city from each state. And tonight we're going to be featuring, I think I have 6 or 7 from Miami. And most of these are cold cases. I feature mostly cold cases on my channel. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Set the notification bell to all so you will be notified when I go live or upload. I usually upload pre-recorded videos during the week. We also cover unsolved homicide cases along with missing persons, some true crime in the news. So we are glad to have you here. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I hope everybody is staying warm. I think the weather's getting a little bit better as of right now. It was nice here, and I'm in Arkansas, for anybody who doesn't know. It was nice here. I'm in Central Arkansas today. Got out and worked. It was in the 70s. Little bit of a breeze blowing. So it was very nice. Very nice. So let's see who we have here before we get started. And before we get started with our cases that I had planned, Chris, who is here. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Had sent me somebody that a missing person that he wanted me to cover, not from Miami, but I am going to cover it. I will do that first before we get started with our Miami cases. So thank you, Chris, for sending that to me. I very hurriedly looked up the information and found her information and an article interview with her family. And I believe she went missing from Plant City, Florida in 2020, I believe. So we'll go over that. And then we'll get started on our Miami cases. Let me see who is here. Like I said, Chris is here. Always good to see you, sir. Avery is here. Hello, my dear. Good to see you. My buddy Mustang is here. Always glad to see Mustang. I hope you're doing well in your part of Arkansas. See who else is here. Thank you, Mustang is getting in links. Yes, this is the link for Stolen Spirits, MMIWG. Please do check them out. They cover MMIP, Indigenous missing persons. They're on YouTube. They're on Facebook. Please do check them out. They do wonderful, wonderful work to bring more awareness to MMIP and MMIW missing, because unfortunately, Indigenous persons don't get as much coverage as other cases do. So we try to do our part in trying to bring more awareness to those cases. Miss Paula is here. Good to see Miss Paula. I'm sorry about the Super Bowl was last night for anybody who I don't, who may watch football. The Patriots didn't do too good last night. It's just that, man, that Seattle Seahawks defense is just tough. But congratulations to the Seahawks for their win. So my condolences, Miss Paula, for your Patriots. Let me see who else is here. Thank you very much. There is Miss Paula's link. Please do check out Miss Paula also. Let's see. Are you talking about the case you sent me? Chris says that first case is crazy. Yeah, from what I was looking at, just very hurriedly, yeah, very strange. Absolutely. All right, I'm caught up, so I'll mark there. So I didn't have time to include it in the slideshow, so I will do. I'll just share the screen for this case that Chris sent me. So let me figure out what I'm doing first of all. So I want to share the screen, and the first info is from. Hopefully it'll share. Is from disappearedblog.com. Because it had a little bit more detailed information than the Charley Project information had. Oh, Mustang says it's been nice in her part of Arkansas. Excellent. All right, so this is the disappearance of, and I'm going to try to not butcher her name. I'm just going to say Sia. It's spelled C-I-E-A-H, Sia Taylor. And you can see, it may take a little bit. It's a little laggy. This is Sia. And Sia Annette Taylor, she's just 28 years old when she was last seen on February 6th of 2020 in Plant City, Florida. She is still missing. She disappeared after dropping her boyfriend off at his residence that afternoon. After that, she has not been seen or heard from since. A little background. She was born on November 16th, 1991, to mother Kenetha Taylor. On January 10th of 2020, Sia was arrested on substance possession charges for a third-degree felony. According to her family, she had previously struggled with addiction, but she had been turning her life around before she went missing. So that's always good to hear. At the time of her disappearance, Taylor worked at a call center. She was spending time living with her on and off again boyfriend and another man in Plant City, Florida, with a friend. Well, maybe she was spending time in two different places. Let me read this again. So she was spending time living with her on and off again boyfriend and another man in Plant City, Florida. And then it says with a friend in nearby Lakeland or in her car. She had previously lived with her mother in Dade City. So it kind of sounds like she could just kind of moved around a little bit just to wherever she could find to stay. So on February 6, 2020, Taylor dropped her boyfriend off at his residence on Cowart Road in Plant City, Florida. It says that she left around 4 p.m., supposedly to meet a friend in nearby Lakeland, Florida. At 7 p.m., Sia's vehicle, which is a black two-door 2000 Toyota Solara with faded paint, was found abandoned by a local police officer in the 900 block of East Trapnell Road, which is just west of Jap Tucker Road in Plant City. So it says the car was sitting on the railroad tracks. Don't know how it got there, but it said it was actually on the railroad tracks. I don't know if it was meant when it says on the tracks, if it was just sitting in, like how you cross the railroad track on the road, if it was just sitting on the road on the railroad tracks, or if it was sitting actually, on the tracks somehow. But it was just about a mile from her boyfriend's house is where it was found, on the tracks. The driver's side door was open. The engine was still running. The police officer subsequently moved the car off the railroad tracks, but at the time did not run the plates or attempt to notify the owner. It's something I do not understand. Why wouldn't you run the plates? I mean, if you find a car sitting on, just my opinion, if you find a car sitting on railroad tracks running, the door open after getting it off the tracks, why would you not, check the tags to see who it belonged to? And I don't know if I'm assuming it was registered in her name. Now I don't know obviously for sure, but it looks like you would, when she ran the plates and got the information of who it was registered to, it looks like to me that you would, notify the owner to say, hey, is this your car? Was somebody driving your car? Are you okay? Why did you leave it sitting on the tracks? So I just don't understand that part of not even running the plates, or attempting to notify the owner. Don't know. I have questions. So unfortunately, Sia was nowhere to be found at the scene. She has never been seen or heard from again. On February 9th of 2020, her family did file a missing persons report with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office upon learning of her abandoned car, which was still sitting in the spot where the police officer parked it. So after he got it off the tracks, so that means after they got it off the tracks, they didn't tow it, impound it, or do anything with it. They just basically left it sitting on the side of the road, I'm assuming. I don't know, I don't know. Just strange things. There are things, in my opinion, that weren't done that should have been done. But I'm not an expert, so I don't know. So, okay, so let me go back. So it was found February 6th. And then 3 days later, on February 9th, is when her family filed the missing persons report. So they didn't find out. So they didn't notify the family. I'm assuming because it said they filed the missing persons report on February 9th upon learning of the abandoned car. I don't know. We don't, down law enforcement here, only if we think, in our opinion, that something wasn't done, things were done that should have been done. In my opinion, I don't understand why whoever handled the case didn't do some things. All right, so moving on to the investigation, authorities believe that Sia's car was left on the railroad tracks near Trapnell Road sometime after 4 p.m. on the day that she disappeared. Her cell phone was found on the ground next to the car on the train tracks. And her keys and wallet, which contained her license and debit card, were found inside the car. So she did leave voluntarily. She didn't take her wallet with her license, debit card. That's always red flaggy to me. So authorities did question Sia's boyfriend, but they have no leads at this time. She was last seen by her boyfriend, his friend, and his friend's father. For several weeks, an extensive search was conducted in the area around the railroad tracks, but no signs of Sia were found. on February 26th of 2020. So couple of weeks after, her shoes were discovered near the road where her car was abandoned. Apparently, they were sitting on a drainage pipe next to a light pole where there was actually one of her missing persons flyers was hung. So her mother does believe the shoes were deliberately placed there sometime after she disappeared. And I can't say that I disagree. I mean, it looks like if they did extensive searches, that if the shoes had been there, and that's once again just my opinion, that if her shoes had been there at that time, right after she disappeared, that they would have seen them. So they say there is a possible connection to Veronica Reyes, Veronica Reyes Diaz disappearance. So on January 18th of 2020, about 3 weeks before Sia disappeared, 23-year-old Veronica Reyes Diaz went missing from Dover, Florida. I don't know how far away Dover is from where Sia went missing from. And once again, I apologize for the scratchy voice. So around 1:15 a.m. on January 18th, 2020, Veronica was dropped off by a friend at her home in Dover, Florida. She then drove to her sister's residence. She picked up her 2 older children and she put them to bed when they got back home. So when her husband woke up around 7 a.m., Veronica was nowhere to be seen. She was reported missing on January 20th when her family could not contact her. So once again, authorities found Veronica's vehicle, which was a Chevy Yukon. They found it parked outside her house with her keys and wallet containing $100 in cash left inside. So it's always red flaggy to me also when they find her vehicle with, once again, her wallet with her keys and $100 in cash left at the home. So Veronica disappeared she did have her cell phone, or they didn't find the cell phone. The cell phone last pinged to a cell tower in Dover on the weekend that she went missing. On the night of January 20th, 2020, her cell phone was either turned off or the battery died. Authorities are unsure if the disappearances are connected, but it has been discovered that the 2 women did have mutual acquaintances. So I don't know if it had anything to do with the possible. It doesn't say here that Veronica did any kind of substances. It might not have, or she might not have. But it just says that they did have mutual acquaintances. And once again, I don't know how far Dover is from where Sia disappeared from. So back to Sia. Police found no evidence, means, or motive for foul play in Sia's disappearance. The case is currently ongoing and active. A $10,000 reward is being offered by her family for any information that leads to Sia's whereabouts. The circumstances around the disappearance remain unclear, and her case is currently classified as missing, and it remains unsolved. Let's see. So Sia has brown hair, red hair, brown eyes, around 5'6" tall and 170 pounds. She has the following tattoos. She has an infinity sign on her upper chest, a ladybug on her left lower leg, a rose on her inner forearm, a sun on her upper right thigh, and 2 X's on the back of her shoulder. She also has scars on the insides of her forearms and a scar on her right upper arm. Her ears are pierced. She was last seen wearing a gray, white, blue, and red striped mini dress, tan knee-high boots, and possibly a pink sweater. So if you do have any information regarding the disappearance of Sia, please contact the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office at 813-247-8200. So once again, I put the picture up. There's another picture of her. If I can get it. There we go. So yeah, just very strange. And like I said, I have questions. Once again, I'm not trying to down law enforcement, but I mean, why would you not, when if you find like I said, if you find a car sitting on the railroad tracks running with nobody in it, you just move it, leave it parked on the side of the road. You don't run the tags to see who it belongs to. You don't notify the owner. You just leave it sitting there. I don't understand that part. I really don't. And then, apparently they didn't notify the parents because they didn't file the report until 3 days later when they found out the car had been abandoned. But please do, as always, let me know what you guys think in the chat, or if you're watching replay, if you're a replay crew, thank you so much. Please leave a comment below to let me know. Leave a comment about any of these cases, your thoughts, opinions, theories on any of these cases that we're going to talk about tonight. But yeah, just some weird stuff going on, and in my opinion, some stuff that should have been done by law enforcement that wasn't done. Let me get caught up. I think some people snuck in on me, and then I do have an article with some an interview with I believe Sia's mother that I want to read. Chris says it's like the cars that deliberately drive onto railroad tracks. Yeah. So I'm wondering, by the way, that said it, was it like sitting just across, on like, on like how you cross the road on the railroad track? Was it sitting there? Was it actually sitting on the railroad tracks, along the railroad tracks? I'm assuming that it was sitting like on the railroad tracks, but which to me makes me wonder even more why, if it was sitting on the railroad tracks, why they didn't attempt to notify anybody to see who it belonged to. I don't know. Hey, Butterfly Kisses, welcome. Good to have you here. There's Miss Peggy. Hello, hello. She says, hope all is well with everyone. Absolutely. We hope all is well with you as well. Miss Avery says she is listening while walking the doggies. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so Chris says it is about 14 to 15 minutes between from Dover to where Veronica disappeared from in Plant City, where Sia. So that's not far at all. And they did have mutual acquaintances, they said. So yeah, very, very strange. All right, so let me bring up this. Let me stop sharing that. Let me bring up this other article with the interview with her family. I lost my cursor. There it is. All right. No. If I would push the right buttons, it might help. Share screen. All right. I'll take it a second to come up on my, or longer. Come on. There it goes. There it is. Okay. So this is from NBC News. Family desperate for answers and disappearance of Sia Taylor, who vanished in February after dropping off boyfriend in Plant City, Florida. And this is from April of 2020. So it says nearly 3 months have passed since anyone has seen or heard from 28-year-old Florida resident Sia Taylor, and her family is desperate for answers. Sia's mother, Kenitha Taylor, told Dateline, quote, I'm worried about her every single day. We just want to know where she is. We want to know if she is okay. Kenitha told Dateline that Sia previously lived with her in Dade City, Florida, but had been recently staying with her boyfriend, which is about 45 minutes away in Plant City, Florida. According to a Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office press release, it was around 4 p.m. on February 6, 2020, when Sia dropped her boyfriend off at his home on Cowart Road in Plant City, which is just a few blocks from a call center where Sia worked at. A few hours later, around 7 p.m., Sia's black 2000 Toyota Solaris was found abandoned about a mile away on railroad tracks at East Trapnell Road. Once again, the engine was still running. Her belongings, including her cell phone and debit card, were in the car. Now, in the disappear blog, it said that the cell phone wasn't in the car, unless I read it wrong. So Sia's sister-in-law, Portia Taylor, who traveled from Iowa to help with the search, told Dateline it was unlike Sia to leave her phone behind. So apparently her phone was left behind. But it said it pinged somewhere. Anyway. So Portia says, quote, if you know Sia, you know that she was never without her phone. She was always in contact with someone. We're just really worried about her. Sia was reported missing, and an investigation was launched by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. According to NBC affiliate WFLA, deputies have questioned Sia's boyfriend, who is allegedly the last person to see her, but they have no leads at this time. Sia's family told Dateline that about 3 weeks after Sia went missing, her shoes were discovered on a drainage pipe alongside the road near the railroad tracks where her car had been found. A flyer announcing her disappearance hung on a post next to the shoes. Yeah, in my opinion, that was not an accident. Because, like I said, you would think, but then again, with some of the stuff that law enforcement apparently didn't do, but you would think that if they searched the area, they would. If the shoes would have been there that night or that next day, that they would have seen them. So Kenitha, her mother, says, I feel like they were placed there. We searched in that area for weeks and never found anything. Those shoes were ones that I gave her, and I definitely would have noticed them. Crystal Clark, the chief communications clerk for Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, would not confirm further details to Dateline, but said, quote, Sia's disappearance is still an active open case and that they are continuing to investigate. For weeks, family and friends searched the area around the railroad tracks, including the woods, but found no trace of Sia. The searches have ended due to the recent spread. So this was back in 20. So we had the Rona going on. Portia and her husband, who is Sia's brother, ended up going back to Iowa. Portia said, quote, our world was turned upside down even before COVID, and now we're even more worried. It's heartbreaking because we can't even go to Florida to be with our family or to help look for Sia. Sia's family describes her as a fun, upbeat person who doesn't let anything get her down. Kenitha, her mother, says she lights up an entire room when she walks in. She is the light of our lives. We just need our girl back. So Sia's family hopes that someone with information will call authorities. They have also set up a Facebook page of Finding Sia, and I will put that link in the chat. I will go back and add it to the description later. So they set up the Facebook page Finding Sia with hope of finding answers in her case. Once again, Sia was last seen wearing a gray, white, blue, and red striped dress, possibly with a pink sweater over it. She is described as being approximately 5'6" tall and 170 pounds, with auburn red shoulder-length hair. Once again, anyone with information on Sia's whereabouts is asked to contact the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office at 813-247-8200. So let me see if this link will take me to the Facebook page or group. Yes, it did. There, you can see it on the screen, Finding Sia. So they're still posting on it because somebody did a post February 6th a few days ago. Since today marks 6 years since our beloved daughter and sister Sia went missing from Plant City, Florida. 6 years without answers, 6 years without her laughter, 6 years of unanswered questions and broken hearts. Sia was last seen in the afternoon on February 6, 2020, after dropping her boyfriend off at a residence on Cowart Road in Plant City. Later that evening, her car was found abandoned with the keys, phone, and personal belongings inside, running and unlocked on the railroad tracks near East Trapnell Road, but there was no sign of her. Our hearts ache every single day because she should be here. Sia was a beautiful, unique soul with a smile that lit up a room and a heart full of love. Not knowing what happened to her is something we live with every moment. We continue to hold on to hope that someone somewhere has the information that will finally bring answers and bring her home. If you do see if you saw her that day or have any information, please come forward. Absolutely. What's what we always say: if you know something, say something. If you see something, say something. No bit of information is too small. Please contact our family directly here on Facebook Messenger. Let's keep her name alive and demand justice, truth, and answers. We miss you, Sia, today and every day. And they have a little display there with her picture and flowers and a candle. Just so sad. All right, let me put the link to this in the chat. So if you do Facebook, please go over there and check it out. Oh, if I'd hit the right button. All right, there's the link to the Facebook group. Just so sad. All right, let me check your comments again before. Then we'll get into our into our Miami cases. But thank you once again, Chris, for bringing this to my attention. I will definitely look into it more and either clip this part down from the live stream into a short video and upload it, or I'll do a completely do a pre-recorded video and upload it for this case. Absolutely. Hey, Gibbo, good to see you here. Welcome. All right, for some reason everything is very small. I don't know what I did. Once again, everything is very small on my. All right, let me stop sharing that and get my. There we go. It came back up. Get my slideshow up. Once again, there is the link to Sia's Facebook group. All right. We will get into, let me get the article loaded for the first one. Find all my bookmarks. All right, there's that. Okay. I'm going to drink right quick. All right, so first, we have Jarkeius Adside. We're starting off with the baby. Babies are always hard. So Jarkeius Adside has not been seen or has been missing since October 18th, 2001 from Miami. He is classified as endangered missing. He's a black male. He was just 1 year old when he went missing. He'll be 25 years old as of 2026. And that smaller inset photo insetted to the larger photo is an age progression to age 14. So at the time he went missing, he was around 2 feet tall, 25 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. His nicknames are Kiri and Keisha, and some accounts spell his first name Jakieries. And it says that his hair was styled in cornrows when he was last seen. So Jarkeus's parents were both in jail actually in October 2001, and he was being looked after by a babysitter named Gwendolyn Brown. So Brown told police that he was abducted by 3 unidentified men during an early morning robbery of her home near Southwest 296th Street and 158th Avenue in Miami. The robbery, she said, took place while she was walking her teenage daughter to the bus stop. When she got back, she says she was confronted by the three armed suspects, and she and her live-in boyfriend, Jeffrey Cochran, were bound with duct tape while the robbers demanded money. So they claim that they later heard a single gunshot, and when they were able to free themselves, the house had been ransacked, and Jarkeius and several items were missing. And after that, Jarkeius has never been seen again. I'm just going to say right now, I'm not saying they had anything to do with it. Obviously, I don't know, but my red flags are going up. Let me know in comments. Put some red flags. I mean, why, if you're going to rob a house, why would you take a baby? They said they heard a gunshot. It's not good. So they did include, you can look on the Charley Project. I didn't have room to put them on the slide, but composite sketches of the three alleged abductors they did post sketches. It says they should all be considered armed and dangerous. So another thing, a blood-stained mattress and blood-soaked sheets were found in the home after Jarkeius' abduction. There were blood stains in other areas of the house as well, and the blood was Jarkeius's. Investigators believe that he may have been severely injured or even killed. But even that doesn't even make sense to me, because even, God forbid, if they did take his life, why would they take him with them? Why would they take the body with them? To me, that would just be very conspicuous and bring a lot of attention to yourself if you run out of a house carrying, a baby. That's why I have questions about this story that the babysitter and her boyfriend gave. Just my opinion. So investigators have publicly expressed skepticism of Brown and Cochran's account. They did not call the police for 2 hours after this supposedly happened. And they stated that it took them that long. The reason they didn't call for 2 hours, because that was how long it took them to free themselves from the duct tape and whatever. Several grams of an illegal substance were found in the residence after Jarkeius' presumed abduction, and Brown and Cochran were both arrested for that. Cochran has Cochran, who is the boyfriend, does have an extensive criminal history. Jarkeius' mother states that she does believe that this story, however, and that she thinks someone took Jarkeius and is looking after him. I mean, obviously that's what a mother, would think, would hope. But I don't know. I have my doubts. But just God bless his mother, or just, so Jarkeius has never been heard from again. His abductors have not been identified, and the case remains unsolved. So if you have any information, you can call the Miami-Dade Police Department at 305-471-8477 or 305-418-7200. And I don't think on most of these, I was not able to find a whole lot of supplemental information to go along with the Charley Project information. I did put a link to his NCMEC profile in the description box, but I was not able to find any interviews with the family members, the mother. Just a sad, yeah. I have my doubts. Just my opinion about this story. that they gave. But let me see what you guys say. Yes, once again, please do all the things. Paula says, any chance he was kidnapped? Well, that's what the babysitter and her husband claim, that he was kidnapped, that these 3 armed men came in and robbed the place and took the baby. But my question is, aside from all the blood that was found in the house that was Jarkeius's blood, I doubt the story. I have doubts. But that was their story apparently, and they're sticking to it. Yep, Gibbo has red flags, absolutely. Hey, Miss Taylor, good to see you, my dear. Glad to have you here. Miss Peggy's got the red flags, absolutely. Chris has got the red flags. I'm telling you, just this story, just in my opinion, does not. Yeah, Chris says I'm not buying their story. I don't either. Yep, Gibbo says agreed. Families hold on to hope, but realistically, I can't talk. Realistically, life isn't that fair all the time. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand the mother's frame of mind and hoping upon hope that, oh yeah, he was just kidnapped, he wasn't hurt, he's out there, somebody's taking care of him. Of course, that's what any parent would hope and think in their mind. But just with all the evidence, with the blood and this, in my opinion, this cockamamie story that the babysitter and the boyfriend came up with, I don't know. I just I don't believe it. In my opinion, I don't believe the story. Absolutely not. And it said the authorities are suspicious of it too. Or hey, Boston, good to see you, my friend. Welcome. Good to have you here. All right, so that was Jarkeius. So next we have, let me get the Paul. This should be Paul Allen Allard or Allard. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it right. So Paul has been missing since August 30th, 1976 from Miami. He was just 14 years old when he went missing. He is a white male. He would be 63 years old as of, excuse me, 2026. And the smaller inset photo is an age progression of him to 57 years old. At the time he went missing, he was 5'4" to 5'5" tall and 110 to 125 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. He does have a scar on the first 2 fingers of his right hand. It says that his hair was shoulder length at the time of his disappearance. Now, none of these pictures on Charley Project had a picture of him with shoulder length hair. It was all kind of like the buzz cut that you see in the picture on the slide. It says that Paul had badly injured his hand prior to his disappearance, and he wore a tape dressing on it with the middle finger pointing down. Just before his disappearance, doctors had decided to amputate 2 of his fingers. So Paul was visiting family members in Miami when he disappeared on August 30th, 1976. Apparently, he called his mother and asked permission to return home to Connecticut, and she sent an uncle to pick him up. But by the time his uncle arrived to meet him, however, Paul had vanished. He was last seen walking on Bird Road near 112th Avenue in Miami, headed toward a 7-Eleven store. He never actually arrived at the store, however. Paul's parents were divorced at the time of his disappearance. He has a prior history as a runaway. In October of 1975, while he and his mother were living in Florida, apparently he left home and hitchhiked hitchhiked back to Connecticut to see his father, who was sick at the time. He was in the hospital. Paul's father passed away at Christmas that year, and Paul, his mother, and his 3 siblings ended up moving back to Connecticut, where they lived on Prospect Street in East Hartford. So investigators believe that after his 1976 disappearance, Paul may have initially tried to go back to Connecticut like he had done before, possibly hitchhiking, but he never made it there, and he has never been seen or heard from again. His family believes that he may have been abducted while attempting to hitchhike to Connecticut, which is entirely possible. Few details are available in Paul's case. The original investigative case file was lost, and authorities opened another file decades after his disappearance. Both Florida and Connecticut police are investigating his case. Some agencies give the date of his disappearance as August 13th, 1976, as opposed to August 30th, 1976. So if you have any information on Paul's case, you can contact the Miami-Dade County, Florida Police Department at 305-471-8477 or the East Hartford PD at 860-528-4401. Let me see if I was able to find anything. I don't think I was able to find anything on him. He is listed on the Doe Network. Doesn't have any really different information than the Charley Project had. Once again, his left hand was taped. The injury was so severe he was scheduled to have 2 of his fingers amputated when he returned home. Unknown if his dentals are available or his fingerprints. His DNA is available, so that's good. Let's see. So that's about all the information. Like I said, Doe Network had about the same information as the Charley Project. But I went ahead, absolutely, as always, all the online sources I use are listed in the description box. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. I think I forgot to mark where I left off. Did I miss somebody? Oh, welcome, Trace of History. That's a new name for me. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you here. We're glad you found us. And make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Sometimes I scan through the chat too fast and miss stuff. I don't want to miss anybody. Another new name, DJ's allegedly IMO True Crime 1998. I'm just going to call you DJ. Says, hello, new here. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. If you'd like to, you can tell us how you found us. If not, that's perfectly fine. We are just glad that you are here. But welcome, welcome. It's always good to see new names. Thank you, Mustang is getting links in. Absolutely. Miss Paula says it is nice seeing everybody here. Absolutely. All right. So I'm caught up. So let's see who we have next. This is Lucely. I'm just going by memory. Lucely Aramburo. Once again, I apologize. I'm doing my best to pronounce all these names right. Need a drink right quick. So Lucely was I seen On June 2nd, 2007 in Miami. She is classified as endangered missing. She is an Hispanic female. She was 23 years old when she went missing. She'll be 42 years old as of 2026. Excuse me. At the time she went missing, she was 4'11" to 5'4" tall and 100 to 110 pounds. I don't know if I forgot to put my right glasses on or not. I have two glasses I have to use. Anyway, she has brown hair and brown hazel eyes. She has a scar on her left hand, a scar below her left knee. She does have a C-section scar on her lower abdomen, freckles on her shoulder and face, and musical notes tattooed on her back. And I believe the smaller picture above her vitals is the tattoo of the musical notes on her back. And that is the only picture of the tattoos that they had on Charley Project. Her nickname is Lily, and many accounts refer to her by that name. She may use the alias names Ashley Green and or Amber Hall. Her ears are pierced. She has previously broken her right wrist and her back. Oh, that breaking your back, that's obviously not good. So Lucely was last seen on June 2nd, 2007 in Miami. Her boyfriend, Christian Pacheco, stated that they had an argument and she walked out of their apartment in the 7600 block of Southwest 82nd Street at around 2 a.m., wearing only her nightgown and no shoes, carrying 2 bungee cords, and leaving behind her purse and her cell phone. Now, once again, I'm not saying that the boyfriend's lying, but we hear this story or a variation of this story so many times in these cases. We got into, and yes, we know it does happen sometimes, but it comes up. We had an argument. They left the house. We never seen her again. Never seen again. Or we were driving. We had an argument. They got out of the vehicle. Never seen again. I've just become jaded, I guess, when it comes to this, because we hear this so many times in so many of these cases. So she has never been heard from again. Pacheco, the boyfriend, did report her missing 24 hours later. He says before he went to the police that he searched the neighborhood for hours looking for her. She had no car at the time of her disappearance, and she usually used public transportation to get around. Her loved ones stated that it is uncharacteristic of her to leave without warning, and they did not believe that she would have abandoned her young son. See, that's another thing. Most parents, most mamas, now we do know there are, exceptions. Most mamas are not going to abandon their children. It says that she was in danger of losing her parental rights due to addiction. Although she had entered a treatment program in order to keep her son, her urine had tested positive a few days before her disappearance, and the family court judge warned her that she would lose her son if she did not complete the treatment program. So in a side note, it says, in spite of the positive test, Lucely went under oath and denied any substance use. So they say it is possible that someone did introduce them into her system without her knowledge, which is entirely plausible. Although they were considering marriage, Lucely's relationship with Pacheco was troubled, and she reportedly told her mother that she was afraid of him. Both of them did use substances frequently. The police were called to their residence twice in response to arguments between them, but no arrests were ever made. Since Lucely's disappearance, Pacheco has been arrested several times on substance charges. Lucely was born in San Francisco, California. She moved to Miami as a baby. Her parents divorced when she was very young, and she has had no contact with her father since then. As a child, she starred for several seasons on the Sabado Gigante Show, which is a Spanish language weekly variety show that's broadcast to millions of viewers throughout the Americas. Now, I've never heard of this show, but if anybody has heard of it, let me know. According to her mother, Lucely began using substances in her freshman year of high school. She became addicted to H within a few years. She dropped out of Hollywood Hills High School at age 16, but she did obtain her GED several years later. Since her disappearance, there have been reported sightings of her in the Miami area. None of these sightings have been confirmed, and her case remains unsolved. So if you do have any information, you can call the Miami-Dade PD at 305-418-7200. Let me see if I had anything. Did have a couple of things, couple of articles. So this first one is from CBS News. Let me get back down to the bottom, top of it. It is from April of 2011. A homicide unit takes over case of missing Florida mom. So ever since 23-year-old Florida mother Lucely Aramburo went missing in June of 2007, her friends and family have been trying to bring as much attention as possible to her case, and their efforts may be beginning to pay off. According to the Miami Herald, the Homicide Bureau has now stepped in to take over the investigation after the Miami-Dade's Missing Persons Unit has spent more than 2 years on the case. The Bureau is looking at Christian Pacheco, who was the boyfriend, who was one of the last people to see her alive, according to the Herald. At this time, once again, this is from 2011, I believe, it said over the past 2 weeks, homicide detectives have questioned Pacheco twice. He also submitted to a polygraph, which he failed. Once again, we know those are not admissible in court, but it just kind of gives detectives or law enforcement kind of an idea of where to go or what to be looking at. Pacheco told the paper, quote, "It burns me up that they keep coming back to us. We had nothing to do with her missing. She walked out of my apartment on her own merit. She left," end quote. So Pacheco disputes failing the polygraph. So I don't know what reasoning he has for disputing failing it. Sorry, ads keep popping up. So once again, Lucely was last seen when she and her boyfriend were leaving their apartment June 1st of 2007. She has not been seen since. Her son, Paulden, was just 6 months old when she disappeared. Paulden now lives with Lucely's mother. See if it has anything else. Who is Saldina? Lucely Saldina is Lucely's mother. Her mother says, quote, "The baby meant everything to her. She has a reason to stay alive, but I'm realistic enough to realize that she may not be alive. I know somebody out there knows something." Absolutely. So now it's just repeating. So once again, anyone with information can call the Miami-Dade Homicide Bureau at 305-471-2400 or the Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. So yeah, apparently the boyfriend, although he disputes it, according to law enforcement, he failed the polygraph. So let's see what this is. I have something from Unsolved. An article called truecrimemusings.com. It's kind of like a blog. Let's see what it says. if I can get down to it. Okay, so we went over that. Okay, so Lucely Lily Aramburo was born on November 16th, 1983. Soon after, she and her parents moved to Miami. Her parents divorced. By the time of her disappearance, her father was no longer in the picture and she did not have contact with him. As a child, Lily attended Shenandoah Elementary, Riviera Day School in Coral Gables, and Ponce de Leon Middle School. She loved the outdoors, especially flowers. No, I don't want to subscribe. Move. Throughout her life, she would pick flowers to cope with stress. She even starred in the Sábado Gigante show for several seasons, a weekly Spanish language variety show. Life was going well until the summer of 1997 when Lily and her mom moved to Hollywood, Florida. This required Lily to change schools to Hollywood Hills High School, a change that would have been difficult for many teenagers. Though she attended this new school for her freshman year, she soon fell into the wrong crowd. She started experimenting with different things. Things got to the point where she would leave for days at a time, and her mother would search frantically for her night after night. Around the same time, Lily was diagnosed with depression. Though the diagnosis provided answers, her life continued to spiral out of control. At age 16, she dropped out of high school. She experimented with other substances. Once these new substances were introduced, things reached a new level of desperation. Lily met David Lamasso in 2003, after which they began to date. Once they moved in together, she increased her dependence on substances, and her communications with her mother became sporadic. She also reportedly became angrier, and she also was diagnosed with schizophrenia at this time. In 2004, Lily and David met and befriended Christian Pacheco. Christian allegedly never did substances before meeting Lily and David, but soon he became addicted. These substances continued to dominate Lily's life until January 2006, when she became pregnant. Realizing that she needed to provide for her baby, she got clean. She obtained her GED. She took Buddhism courses. While taking the courses, she met Janet Forte, who became her close friend and advocate, especially after her disappearance. She gave birth in September 2006 to a baby boy that she named Paulden. Things seem to be looking up for Lily. Unfortunately, things began to go downhill again when Lily and David broke up in late 2006, at which point she and Christian began a relationship. She moved into his condo, and they even discussed a marriage. However, many described their relationship as troubled. The police were called on at least 2 separate occasions after they got into heated arguments, and Lily reportedly admitted to her mother that she was afraid of him. Even though there were never any arrests made during these altercations, police did arrest Christian on substance-related charges several times after Lily's disappearance. By 2007, Lily's life was again spiraling out of control due to she and Christian's substance use and late night parties. CPS became involved and gave custody of Paulden to Lily's mother. CPS then told Lily that if she didn't get clean and stay clean, that she would lose her son. In response, she was admitted to an inpatient drug treatment program and underwent regular drug testing. A few days before her disappearance, so once again, she had tested positive, which increased her risk of losing her son. So Lily, once again, was last seen in the early morning hours of June 2nd, 2017 by her boyfriend, Christian Pacheco. According to his account, she walked out following an argument between them, wearing only a nightgown and carrying 2 bungee cords. Her cell phone and purse were left behind. Christian claimed to have woken up around 10 a.m. and discovered that Lily was nowhere to be found. He said, once again, that he searched the neighborhood for hours before contacting the authorities. He ended up reporting her missing 24 hours later, at which point he claimed that she had ideations of self-harm. So initially, the police did not take her disappearance seriously. Once again, she was an adult. She had a history of running away, blah, blah, blah. We've heard the story. However, her mother and her friend Janet insisted that it was uncharacteristic of her to abandon her son and cut off contact with everybody. So unfortunately, this was not the only mistake the police made. Even though Christian was the last person known to be with Lily that day, he was not questioned until years after the disappearance. So it was years later that they did this polygraph test. So at that point, years later, he was given a polygraph test, which he reportedly passed. It wouldn't be until years later that the public found out that he had actually failed it. Due to a lack of attention from the police, her mother and Janet attempted to contact the media to get the word out about her disappearance. Frustratingly, none of the media outlets were willing to cover her case. See, unfortunately, we hear about that a lot too in these cases, especially when it comes to adults. So since then, Christian reached out to Lily's mother to report sightings of her in the Miami area. In one sighting, he claimed to have spoken to two men who confirmed that they had spoken with Lily. Reportedly, her mother spoke with one of the men, and the details were so compelling that she and Janet began to focus their efforts in the Miami area. Unfortunately, nothing came of these sightings. Excuse me. For Lily's loved ones, Christian's inconsistencies that night warrant a closer look. I agree. There are several questions that only he can answer, such as why it took him so long to report Lily missing or to contact her mother. So yeah, even if he, waited 24 hours, and this is just my opinion, waited 24 hours to report her missing, it looks like he could have picked up the phone and said, hey, Lily's gone. She just walked out of the house in the middle of the night. Have you seen her? But apparently he didn't do that. In response, he told her that he had tried to report her missing sooner, but the police had told him that he needed to wait 24 to 48 hours to report an adult. That might be, he might be telling the truth on that part. I don't know. Because unfortunately, some law enforcement agencies will say, oh, even though it's not true, that you have to wait 24 to 48 hours to report an adult missing. He also assumed that someone else in the house had contacted her mother. So not satisfied with these answers, her loved ones tried to go to the police with their suspicions, but nothing came of it. After that, Janet turned to the internet to share Lily's story in the hopes of gathering more exposure and leads. Her efforts paid off when a journalist from the Miami New Times picked up the story and wrote a comprehensive article about the case, complete with statements from the police, Lily's mother, Janet, and Christian, among others. This article came across the desk of two private investigators who did offer their services pro bono. Despite the assistance of the PIs, pushes for more exposure, and a detective reinvestigating her case, no new leads have developed over the years. There have been rumors that Lily was a victim of a homicide, and there have been reported sightings, but none of these have helped the case progress. Since her disappearance, Lily's mother, once again, has been caring for Paulden, her son. She has tried to keep her daughter's story alive, but it has not been easy. As of when this article was written, her case remains unsolved. It is still unsolved. So just thoughts. These are thoughts from whoever wrote, I don't know if I gave a name, whoever wrote this blog or this article. Let me go back up and see if there's a name. Just says Margaret, a lady named Margaret. So her thoughts on the case, let me get back down to them. So her thoughts: the disappearance of Lily is equally mysterious and infuriating. A young mother supposedly disappears early one morning after a fight with her boyfriend, fiance. The strange part is that she disappears wearing only a nightgown and carrying a couple of bungee cords. Now, the only reason I could think of that if she did take these bungee cords, was possible self-harm. So whoever wrote this says, honestly, it reminds me of the disappearance of Monica Carrasco. I don't think I've heard of that one. This case was difficult and somewhat frustrating to research. Lily's case received very little attention from police and the media, and as a result, many of the details of this case are unconfirmed, making it hard to determine what happened. Janet Forte, who is Lily's friend, has done a lot of work to promote her case online. Unfortunately, the website, which was called justiceinmiami.org, was taken down. Don't know why it was taken down. But parts are accessible via the Wayback Machine. This person said, I scoured through the archives looking for additional information about the case, but the only information I found discussed efforts to promote Lily's case. She goes on to say, this disappearance is particularly tragic. From what information is available, it is clear that Lily struggled with changes in her life, with mental illness, with substance abuse. Many people prefer to distance themselves from the poor and vulnerable, especially if there are substances involved. But I urge you to read Lily's story and similar stories with compassion and an open mind. Absolutely. I've worked with vulnerable people in my personal and professional life, and the biggest lesson I've learned is this: you are not as removed from poverty, homelessness, substance abuse, etc., as you think you are. And I say that not to scare you, but to ground you in reality. Because if you ever end up in Lily's situation, you're going to hope and pray that someone shows you compassion and empathy. Absolutely. Absolutely. She goes on to say, in Lily's case, there's not a lot of information, but there are some theories to discuss. Most people who look at this case believe one of the following theories. Number one, Lily left Christian's condo that night with the intent to harm himself. Number two, Lily ran away, possibly while under the influence. Or three, Lily passed away or was the victim of a homicide. So the writer, Margaret, who wrote this, says, let's look at these theories one by one. Says, first, we have the theory that Lily left Christian's condo with the intent to harm herself. If Christian is to be believed, she did have ideations of self-harm, even though she was diagnosed with depression. I struggle to believe this theory. If she did have ideations of self-harm, why did she leave the condo if she wanted to end her life? Even though it was the middle of the night, there was a decent chance that someone could have seen what she was doing and stopped her. There could have been high school or college students coming home after a night out. A mom getting up to tend to her baby. She's basically saying somebody might have seen something. She says, as far as I'm aware, no one other than Christian saw her that night, never mind stopped her supposed attempt. She says, the deal breaker for me is her lack of shoes. I can understand leaving your wallet and phone behind, but to leave your shoes behind. She says, I mentioned in the Monica Carrasco case that running outside barefoot puts strain on your body, even if you're just walking, is still incredibly uncomfortable and painful. I have to agree, most definitely. The pavement is rough. You can step on, things like rock sticks, broken glass, hurt yourself. Why would you have subjected yourself to this discomfort and pain when there were other methods that were more accessible at the condo? So when whoever wrote this, her opinion is that the self-harm is the least likely. The next theory is that Lily ran away, possibly while she was under the influence. She says, I'll admit that substances can make you do some strange things. Absolutely. But I also find it hard to believe this theory. If she was under the influence, how could she have gotten so far away that no one would have found her? If she was in the middle of the woods, then it's plausible. However, she disappeared from a condo in a more urban area. Besides, she was barefoot once again, which would have slowed her down considerably. If she was in the immediate area, someone would have found her. That makes sense. She goes on to say, the only way I see this being possible is if someone picked her up as a hitchhiker. But again, there's no evidence that this happened. No one reported seeing unusual vehicles or suspicious people near the condo that night. And not only that, but this theory and the self-harm theory completely ignore what Lily's loved ones have said, that she would never leave her son. She was working hard to regain custody. If she wanted him back that badly, why would she leave? Excellent point, in my opinion. So she was already in hot water over the positive substance test. Abandoning your child would only cause more trouble, and it would further increase your risk of losing custody forever. Also a valid point. She says, while this theory isn't out of the realm of possibility, I still don't think it is likely. So the last theory is that Lily either passed away or was the victim of a homicide that night, and someone concealed her body. We know that she and Christian had a rocky relationship to the point where the authorities were called multiple times. She even told her mother once again that she was scared of Christian. There are a myriad of possibilities under this theory. One notable possibility is that Lily could have OD'd and passed away, and then Christian disposed of her body in the 24 hours between when she disappeared and when he called, reported her missing. There have been plenty of instances where people panicked after an accidental death. Rather than calling the police, they conceal the body, they hide the evidence. Yeah, we've all heard of that happening. She says, I can see this as a possibility here, especially since there were substances involved. But even with this theory, there are still issues. If it was an accident, why would someone like Christian go through the effort of concealing her body? She makes a point. She says, I imagine charges like concealing a corpse will carry stiffer punishments than a possession charge, which I would assume that would be true. That leads to another possibility that Christian was responsible for Lily's death. The fact that their arguments were bad enough for police to get involved is a massive red flag for me, and as is the fact that Lily admitted to her mom that she was scared of him. So obviously DV is a serious problem that does not go away on its own. Without aggressive intervention, it can end in one or both partners being seriously injured or killed. If Lily passed away during an argument with Christian, that would motivate him to stay quiet after all these years. He would have likely received severe punishment, especially since this was not the first time police had intervened during their arguments. The only problem is obviously there's no evidence of this. Christian has never been named a suspect. He's never been arrested or convicted. Between the lack of evidence and cooperation with authorities, we have almost nothing to work with. It's almost all speculation and hearsay, which is true. She goes on to say, Lily deserves better. In between her mental illness and drug abuse, she was still a person. She was a daughter, a mother, and a friend. She does not deserve to be forgotten. She deserves her day in court just like every other victim. Even though most of the world forgot about her, you don't have to. Talk to your loved ones about Lily's case, especially if you know someone in the Miami area. Share her post, missing persons flyers, anything that you come across about Lily's case on social media. Do not let her continue to be forgotten. So she ends with a quote from Banksy. She says, quote, "They say you die twice. One time when you stop breathing, and the second time when somebody says your name for the last time," end quote. It's just a very obviously sad, heartbreaking case. So what are your guys' thoughts of these three theories that this Margaret, the lady who wrote this blog or this article, let me go back to them. It was at the very bottom. One that she ran off and self-harm. Why did I scroll all the way back down? One that the boyfriend could have been involved. What was the other one? I already forgot. There's three of them anyway. I don't know. I still the boyfriend did not pass the polygraph test. But then again, there's no, like she said, the writer of this article said there's no evidence that they have enough to consider him a suspect or to make any arrest or anything of that nature. So, all right, let me get back into your comments right quick. Trying to find where I left off here. Excellent. DJ said, just searching up crime channels. That's how I found you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. We are glad you found us. That's what I was wondering. Boston says, how did her back get broken? It does not say. It just said in the, let me go back to her Charley Project information. Oh, I feel like I'm losing my voice. Oh, let me go to the right tab before I try to change articles here. It just says, let me find it. She had previously broken her right wrist and her back, but it does not say how she broke her back. I was wondering that same thing also. Because you would think that if it had anything to do, and in the articles that I read, it didn't mention it, but you would think that if it had anything to do with any of these fights that she had with the boyfriend, that they would have mentioned that. So I don't know if she fell, if she had some kind of vehicle accident, something of that nature. I don't know. It does not say, unfortunately. That is an excellent question, because once again, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, Mustang says, yeah, just happened to vanish. I know. We hear, once again, I keep harping on it. We go back to that. We hear that story so often from these. Oh, we had an argument. They left the house, never seen again. We were in the car. We had an argument, got out of the car, never seen again. It's just, my red flags always go up. Paula says, is it possible she just walked away? Absolutely. And it is possible that she just walked away. It's possible that she walked away and then something happened after she walked away, whether it be, did she get in the car with somebody and something nefarious happened? I don't know the terrain. They said it was an urban area, so I'm assuming a city-like area. So you wouldn't think there'd be any, I don't know if there are bodies. I always think about bodies of water. Were there bodies of water around that she could have possibly accidentally fell into? Are there any kind of hills or cliffs or anything around there that she could have fallen off of and they just have never found her? Or were there any wooded areas that she could have gone into? And see, this was in, when did she disappear? At what time of year? It was in June. in Miami, so you would think it would be relatively warm, so you wouldn't think that hypothermia would play any part if she got lost or she fell down and got hurt and couldn't move. I mean, I don't know. It, like I said, it is possible that she did walk away and then something happened after that. We just don't know. Absolutely, I consider it suspicious, most definitely. We're definitely going to check out DJ's channel. Absolutely. Hey, Josh. Josh stuck in. Wait, did I miss you? Say hi earlier. I apologize if I missed you. Hey, buddy, how are you doing? I'm glad you popped in. Please do check out Josh the Posh. His channel is Where Lavender Grows. And I believe he's going to be doing another live stream Saturday, did he say? I think it's Saturday. Thank you very much. There is the link to Josh's channel. Please do check him out. Josh says he is lurking for a moment, can't stay, but just wanted to say hi. We're always glad when you just pop in to say hi. Thank you so much. All right. I think that is all I had on Lucely. All right. So next, we have Vincent Fitzroy Arthurs. And I don't think I was able to find, unfortunately, much of anything except for the Charley Project information for Vincent. So Vincent has been missing since April 15th, 1994 from Miami. He is classified as endangered missing. He's a black male. He was 52 years old when he went missing. He would be 84 years old as of 2026. At the time he went missing, he was 5'6" to 5'7" and 165 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. He has a scar on his forehead. Excuse me, he had a mustache at the time of his disappearance, and he may use the alias name Arthur Vincent. So Vincent worked as a pastry chef. So this one is very weird. On the cruise ship Sovereign of the Seas in 1994. He had been employed by the cruise line for 13 years. He was last seen on board the ship on April 15th, 1994. While the ship was out to sea between Cocoa Bay, Bahamas, and Miami, Florida. By the time the ship docked in Miami, he had disappeared. He has never been seen or heard from again. When he was not on the ship, he lived in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. He did leave behind a wife and 9 children. His brother in Florida believes that foul play may have been involved. Miami police are investigating his case, which remains unsolved. So if you have any information, call the Miami-Dade PD at 305-715-3300. And that I was not able to find. So, I mean, going missing from a cruise ship that was out to sea at the time leaves to, in my, please let me know if you guys have any other theories. 2 theories is that either he either voluntarily or not voluntarily went overboard somehow, or some kind of foul play did happen on the ship and he was hidden on somewhere on the ship and was just never found. Once again, I mean, and cruise ships are, I've been on one cruise a few years ago. Cruise ships are huge. There are plenty of places to hide a body, but you would think that they would have searched the whole ship. Now, it would have been a different story if the boat had been docked somewhere at the time, and maybe he, now I don't know, so he worked as a pastry chef, so I don't know if they're allowed to debark from the ship if it's docked. you know, if it had been docked, it is possible that he could have got off the ship and just never got back on the ship. But it said he disappeared while it was at sea. So that, to me, like I said, leaves very limited possibilities on what could have happened. So I don't know. They said it was out to sea between Cocoa Bay, Bahamas, and Miami. And then when it docked in Miami, he had disappeared. Well, I guess a possibility, but I think you have to. It's possible that he could have got off the ship when it docked at Miami, but I think you have to go through and show your. I mean, I don't know how it is with people who actually work on the ship. I mean, do you have to show? Do they have any documentation or that he you know, got off the ship? Would he have had to show some kind of ID and say, "Hey, I'm getting off the ship"? I don't know. That's a possibility. Also, but I don't know. Don't know. Let's see. Josh has been a member for 17 months, almost a year and a half. Wow. He says, "Hey, I've been here a minute." Exactly. Absolutely. We are glad to have you here. So we get to put a cow in the pasture. Whew, it's hot in here. Wish I put my hair up. Getting tangled up here. Thank you very much, Josh, for being a member, for your continued support for almost a year and a half. Thank you, sir. Yes. Yep, another cruise ship disappearance. I've got to get, what was the last one where the girl was found deceased? I think she was found stuffed under the bed or something. I have not kept up with that case. Has anybody heard anything about that? I think maybe they were looking at the stepbrother the last time I heard anything about it, and it's been a while ago. I got to look into that and see if there's any updates in that case. Yes, Where Lavender Grows is Josh's channel. Absolutely. Josh says, happens more often than I care for. Yeah. Yeah. And then we had that one, and I forget her name. They did a documentary maybe on Netflix not too long ago about her. It happened a while ago. I can't remember her name. You guys will have to remind me. You know how my memory is. What was her name? Because there's been so many theories and rabbit holes that people have gone down with that case. You guys will have to remind me of the name. All right, so that was Victor. So next we have, or Vincent, not Victor, I'm sorry. Next we have Jorge Luis Bermudez. And Jorge has been missing since November 23rd, 2022. So this is a more recent one. He is an Hispanic male. He was 58 years old when he went missing. He'll be 61 years old as of 2026. When he went missing, he was 5'6" to 5'7" inches tall and 140 to 160 pounds, with gray hair and brown eyes. It says that he has enlarged knuckles and joints in his hands and knees. One of his thumbs is scarred and disfigured. He has a dimple in his chin. He was born in Cuba, and he may use the name Jorge Bermudez Chavez. His last known clothing is a dark blue baseball cap with the logo Professional Management Inc. on the front. And that's why I used that picture for the slide, because that is the hat. A size medium light blue button down short sleeve shirt with the logo Professional Management Inc. stitched above the front left pocket, and the word staff silk screen on the back, blue jeans, dark gray, size 10, Saucony sneakers with black laces and white soles, and a silver and gold wedding band. It says that he may be in need of medical attention for unspecified reasons. And I believe his car is also missing, which is a red 2016 Toyota Corolla with the Florida license plate LFFW03. Sorry, my brother was texting me. Oh, not to forget about tomorrow. Okay, I have to take him to a doctor's appointment tomorrow. All right, so Jorge was last seen leaving his residence in the 4800 block of Southwest 154th Place in Miami on November 23rd, 2022. He has never been seen or heard from again. A few hours later, so his car was found. A few hours later, his red 2016 Toyota Corolla was found abandoned in a wooded area at Southwest 137th Avenue and Southwest 8th Street. I don't know how far away that is from his residence. There was no sign of Jorge at the scene, but his keys, wallet, and his phone were inside the car. A few details are available in this case. So if you have any information, once again, you can call the Miami-Dade PD at 305-715-3300. Let me see if I could find. So I think I found an article, a short article, with an interview with his family. This article is from November of 2022. Come back to us. Family desperately searching for missing Miami-Dade man. No, I don't want to. A family is in desperate need to find their loved one, a 58-year-old man who went missing in Miami-Dade. Jorge Bermudez has been missing since Wednesday, according to the Miami-Dade Police Department. His son, Jorge Jr., says, quote, "Come back to us. We need you. I don't know where he is. Just please come back," end quote. The last time he saw his father was early morning on Wednesday before he left for work. But Junior says, but he never showed up to work. We used Find My iPhone and found his vehicle abandoned next to a canal. He said his dad's car was found in a wooded area near 8th Street and 137th Avenue. Inside the car, once again, were his keys and his phone. His son says, quote, "We need to either find him alive and we'll get him back to being well, or at least find his body. Just to have that conclusion, right now, nobody knows anything," end quote. So the family believes that Jorge is in danger. His son said the police have gone out with different helicopters, with dogs, with divers to check the canal, and they have found nothing. The 58-year-old said they didn't find any tracks, as any like footprints. Once again, he was last seen wearing blue jeans, a light blue shirt, and a black hat. So apparently a viewer called one of the local news stations saying that they believe that they saw him at around midnight on Saturday in this Southwest 142nd Avenue and Tamiami Trail. The family did check the area, but they did not find any sign or any footprints of Jorge. Their efforts continued after they last saw him before going to work. His son said, quote, "It would mean everything. He is the glue for us all. He taught me everything. We all came from Cuba. He did everything for us. He has always guided us. It would be having that guidance back." So once again, anyone with information should call Miami-Dade PD at 305-715-3300 or Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. And I believe that was all that I was able to find. I did find his Florida missing flyer. I will post that on my community tab and on Facebook. I think that was it. All right, I think we have one more. Okay, thank you, Josh. Yeah, Anna Kepner was the one that was found unalived under the bed on the cruise ship. And the stepbrother charged a few days ago, I think, says Josh. See, I knew that the last time I'd heard anything or read anything about it, that they were looking at the stepbrother. Josh says, sorry for my typos. I'm on the phone. No worries. No worries. I have typos even when I'm not on the phone. Ooh. Josh says he had dental procedures and his mouth is still numb. I hate going to the dentist. He says, guess that shouldn't affect my typing, but I grab all the sympathies I can. Oh, that's funny. All right. So I believe the last one we have is Marco Antonio Cadenas. So Marco has been missing since May 11th, 1994 from Miami. He is a biracial, a black and Hispanic male. He was just 9 years old when he went missing. He would be 41 years old as of 2026. The smaller picture is age progression to age 30. So when he went missing, he was 4'7" tall and 70 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. He does have an appendectomy scar on his abdomen and a scar on his left ankle. It says he had a scratch on his left cheek at the time of his 1994 disappearance. His left ear is pierced, and his name may be given as Marcos instead of Marco. Last known clothing, a red t-shirt, jeans, a diamond earring in his left ear, and no socks or shoes. So Marco was last seen leaving his family's residence in a trailer park in Northwest Miami on May 11th, 1994. His mother told authorities that he left their home after they had an argument, and she threatened to punish him. She told him to take a shower, and instead he walked out the door and left. He has never been seen or heard from again. He was upset at the time of his disappearance because his mother had hit his stepfather. He left a note behind saying that he was leaving because of that incident. At the time of his disappearance, he had just returned home after a previous runaway episode. He is considered endangered, and Florida law enforcement has an outstanding dependency pickup order issued for him. And it says that he may be using an assumed name. So if you have any information, you can call the Miami-Dade PD at 305-418-7200. And let me see, I had an article. Oh, no, I didn't. That was for the first case we talked about. He is listed on the Doe Network. His dentals are available. Fingerprints not available. DNA is available, so that's good. So not any other additional information on Doe Network. It is good that his DNA is available. So that is, I believe that is the last one. We're going hour 44. All right, does anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Let's say before we started, we went over, once again, thank you to Chris. We went over the, once again, let me find, Sia Taylor has been missing from Plant City, Florida since February 6, 2020. She is still missing. Let me get her vitals and her information again one more time. She's a white female. She has a lot of tattoos and an infinity sign on her upper chest. She is 22 years old, I believe, when she went missing. A ladybug on her left lower leg, a rose on her inner forearm, a sun on her upper right thigh, and 2 X's on the back of her shoulder. She has scars on the inside of her forearm, a scar on her right upper ear. Her ears are pierced. She was last seen wearing a gray, white, blue, and red striped mini dress, tan knee-high boots, and possibly a pink sweater. So if you have any information in Sia's case, call the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office at 813-247-8200. Once again, thank you to Josh for being a member for 17 months, almost a year and a half. We appreciate you, Josh. Absolutely. So I think we're going to get out here for the night. Oh, I lost my comment. I keep not deleting my comments, but losing my comments. Because I feel like I'm losing my voice again. What? Hold on. Josh said there were 5 unalivings in Plainview, Texas today. Hold on. Plainview, let me hold on, let me close that out and start a new tab. Let me look at that. If I can spell. Make sure I'm finding okay. All right, let me one minute, let me share my screen. Yeah, I had not heard about that. Okay, so let me take that down. It may take it a minute to oh, it would help if I hit the right buttons. Might take it a minute to come up on the screen. Here it comes. So Texas DPS says shooting in Seth Ward left 5 deceased. Is this the right one, Josh? Says a shooting in Seth Ward on early Saturday morning left 5 dead, including the shooter. The Hale County Sheriff's Office called in the Texas Rangers for an investigation following the report of a shooting at the 2700 block of Up Church Street in Seth Ward. The incident was reported at 3:40 a.m. on Saturday. That's not the right one, is it? Oh, it is the right one? Okay. So let me get past that. According to DPS, the following individuals were pronounced deceased at the scene: 28-year-old Hector Alonso Sanchez, 30-year-old Tanya Paulo Valadez Rangel, 47-year-old Rosalba. I'm butchering these names. I apologize. Rosalba Sands Rodriguez and 33-year-old Salvia. Raleigh Joseph Zavala Barrientos, 21, was pronounced deceased at Covenant Healthcare Plainview. Through the course of the investigation, it was determined that Villa was the assailant. The case remains under investigation, and DPS says there is no threat to the public. No other information is available at the time. That is horrible. So is that the right one? A couple of them came up. Wait, hold on. What did Mustang say? Mustang said I was glittering. Hold on. I'm glittering. I know my shirt. Sometimes when I wear, I don't know if it has to do with the green screen. Yeah, but some colors that I wear, it glitter. It does something. It's weird. I guess I'm going to choose colors that don't have any kind of, because this does have the green in it, like the green screen. That's probably what it is. But I was like, wait, what? I'm glittering? Am I either that or I'm turning into a vampire? Either one. Okay, Josh said that was the right one. Okay. Yes, that is horrible. Okay. Josh said, yeah, it was Saturday, but we all got word of it today for some reason. Okay. All right, so that is all that I have. I don't know. There's been a lot going on still with the Nancy Guthrie case. I can't even keep up with everything that's been going on with it. I think they released another video. They've been searching the houses again. So it's just, I can't, like I said, I can't keep up with all of that. I'm doing my best, but we talked about that case some was it Friday night I did a live stream? Friday night we did a True Crime After Dark. So I think we're gonna get out of here for the night. Let's see. Let me get caught up in your comments again. Get back down to where I was. Okay, there it is. Oh, yeah, Josh says, I was going to check out, but I stayed for the last one. All deserve to be raised and remembered. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Stain, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you're watching Replay Crew, thank you so much. Please leave a comment below to let me know that you're Replay Crew. Absolutely. Thanks, chat. Thanks to the mods. Thanks to Mustang. Everybody who has wrenches, thanks to Mustang for getting the links in. Appreciate you very much. Thank you, Boston. Always good to have you here. Oh, there it is, where Mustang said I was glittering. Let's see. What? Josh says that is a fake Norton message. What? Thank you once again. Thank you once again that everybody was here. I'm thinking about maybe Wednesday, because I won't be able to do a live stream Friday. And I don't want to do one on Thursday because Miss Z, Trial Junkies United, has their live stream on Thursday nights and Saturday nights. Please check out Trial Junkies United. Z and Doc and Moo the Cat. They do live stream Thursday nights and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. They cover a lot of injustice cases and MMIW cases. So Tuesday we may do. It's been a while since we've done unsolved homicide cases, and while I was bored, work was very slow today. So while I was bored at work today, I got on solvethecase.org, and I found about 6 or 7 unsolved cold case homicides. So we may do an unsolved live stream Wednesday night. So if you can make it, we would love to have you here. If not, you can always be Replay Crew. So I'll get everything put together for that and get it scheduled, barring any unforeseen thing, something that may come up. But I don't see anything coming up, but you never know. So until then, everybody, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you to all the subs, the mods. Members, thank you, members. If you're new here, thank you for being here. Please consider subscribing once again if this is your cup of tea. So until Wednesday, get my outro ready. Find the fur babies. There they are. Until then, stay safe, stay warm, take care of each other. I love you guys, and hopefully I will see you again Wednesday.